is Piers Morgan tonight. Good evening. Our big story tonight is really very, very big. It's $550 million worth of big Powerball. The winning numbers will be drawn in just about 2 hours' time, and ticket buyers are still lining up. You've probably heard that your odds of winning are 1 in 175,223,510. You may even have heard the frequently cited statistic: you're more likely to be crushed to death by a vending machine as you try to shake loose a candy bar. The odds of that unfortunate occurrence are about 1 in 112 million. But I want to bring in now two men on opposite sides of the Powerball debate. Terry Rich is the CEO of the Iowa Lottery, and Les Barnell is the Executive Director of Stop Predatory Gambling. Welcome to you both. And let me start with you, if I may, Terry Rich. You obviously run one of the big lotteries in America. You heard what Dave Ramsey said there. He doesn't like it. This is a tax on the poor. It gives false hope, and really it should just be cancelled.
You know, as he says that, I would just add one word: optional. It's optional revenue. People don't have to play. And as lotteries work across America under great leadership of the governor and the legislature, who would not allow, as they say, preying on the poor, it's important that we continue to talk about the lottery, that it is not an investment. I absolutely agree with him on that. This is a chance to have some entertainment and in this tough economic times to dream just a little bit. So anybody that's spending too much, will be the first to say, don't play. We don't want you to play. We want you to get help if you're playing too much. You know someone who's doing that. Every lottery has a website with an address on how to get help. So that's kind of the important distinction, is that this is optional revenue that the states need for education and other good causes.
Les Barnell, I know you don't agree with that, but explain to me why you don't agree.
We turned America's working class into its lottery class.
OK, Terry Rich, what do you say to that? I mean, there's no doubt that you have no way, do you, running a lottery, of knowing who is buying these tickets, their demographic, their wealth, or anything. You don't really know if there are very impoverished people who are spending much more than they can afford on a weekly basis, maybe even addicted. You've got no way of knowing, have you?
Well, we actually do know, and it almost exactly mirrors the demographics of any given state. So if 15% of the people make $50,000 in a certain class, that's about the exact numbers when you look at the statistics of the people who play the lottery. And I take a little offense to the idea that hardworking people aren't smart enough to understand. And I grew up on a farm in Iowa. We had very little money, and my dad taught me cash is king. And I think Dave Ramsey, in listening to him, I agree with many of his philosophies on how you do investments. This is a form of entertainment, and you need to take it at that. I absolutely agree. We don't want anybody just going out and emptying their savings account on a night like tonight. You want to get a couple bucks, get a few friends together, you know, have a few tickets, and have some fun dreaming and talking in this ugly economic time about what could happen. And I guarantee you, most everybody realizes I probably won't win tonight, but what if?
I mean, you make it sound wonderfully harmless, but look, here's a statistic for you. Studies of lottery ticket sales in 5 states, including the Carolinas, California, and Texas, they found consistently higher in the poorest counties and more likely to be purchased by unemployed and households that earn $13,000 a year, spending 9% on lottery tickets. I mean, that is more than false hope. That is a huge chunk of a very needy selection of families' income being frittered away on something they have almost zero chance of winning.
Well, what it is people in a percentage have the same problem. If they're not making enough, if they're buying food or buying other types of things, the percentage of their total income is obviously much higher. We don't encourage, we don't tell and would want people to spend the majority of their income on lottery tickets. And that's an important message. If you're listening right now and you're playing over your head, or you know someone that is, let's get them help. We're absolutely in agreement with you, every one of the folks that'll talk on this.
Okay, now let me turn back to Les.
You know, when Mr. Rich talks about how, you know, they don't know who, you know, they're not making most of their money from a small amount of players. That's not true. Like the New York Times reported that 80% of lottery revenue comes from 10% of lottery players. It's the most predatory business in America today, and it's a government program.
There's one exception,
Terry,
though.
What do you say to that?
Take to that. Here's the facts: is that lotteries and states began to do lotteries because people have a desire. We do $68 million in lottery business in fiscal year 12. That's more than the movie and the music industry combined. we have nearly 70% of the people in any given year play the lottery at some point. And if we didn't have state-run lotteries, the integrity is above reproach, in my opinion, in all of this as we take a look. And that really is a big goal and everything else, because every time you buy is optional. But if we didn't have it, we'll go back to what it was. People are still going to find ways to game, but they're going to do it illegally. And that was the problem with the numbers games. The mafia running the numbers, the states took it over to legalize and tax it. And as you look at the future and the things that are going on with that, that's an important integrity and oversight to make sure the things you don't over-promote.
Terry Rich and Lisbon, it's a fascinating debate. Thank you both for joining me. I'm going to have to take a break now, I'm afraid. When I come back, I'll talk again to Dave Ramsey and his words of wisdom on Powerball and also the